Hillary Clinton is facing questioning today as part of the House Oversight Committee investigation into Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, that closed-door deposition is currently underway in Chappaqua, New York, where the Clintons do have a home. During her opening statement, Clinton denied ever encountering Epstein and said she, quote, never flew on his plane or visited his island.
Tomorrow, the Republican-led committee will hear from former President Bill Clinton, whose name and pictures appear hundreds of times in the Epstein files, though he has not been accused of any wrongdoing. This all comes after the committee threatened to hold both Clintons in contempt of Congress if they failed to appear for questioning.
Chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles joins us now from Chappaqua. Ryan, both Clintons have told the Oversight Committee that they have nothing to actually contribute to this investigation. So what can we then expect to hear in Hillary Clinton's testimony? What could she say that would be useful?
Well, it's a good question, Morgan. And while we know that Bill Clinton's name pops up, his picture pops up over and over again in the Epstein files, and that he did have some degree of a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, there's no real evidence that Hillary Clinton had the same type of relationship. So today, before this deposition began, we pressed the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, exactly what are you looking for from Hillary Clinton in this deposition today? This is what he said.
We're not accusing Hillary Clinton of wrongdoing. We know that Jeffrey Epstein said many times in emails that he was the first person to raise money for the Clinton Initiative, the Clinton Foundation, that he solicited money at some of his properties for the Clinton Foundation. Again, that's not saying anything's illegal, but there are a lot of questions pertaining to Secretary Clinton.
And so the Clinton Global Initiative, which is, of course, the Clintons' philanthropic organization that they formed after both left office, has been a key focus for members of this committee. And just how it may tie to the overall financial picture of Jeffrey Epstein could be some of the questions that Hillary Clinton gets here today. There could also be questions about the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was on the guest list for their daughter Chelsea Clinton's wedding, and it was a rather intimate affair. But in the aggregate, there does not appear to be too much tangible connection between Hillary Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, which is expected to be the overall focus of this broad investigation, guys.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.